Welcome to the Amazing Relationships Podcast with Kim Wilson, a space designed to help you create amazing relationships with yourself and others. Get ready to experience hope, love, and inspiration. Here's your host, Kim Wilson.
Hi, I'm Kim Wilson, your relationship expert. We are in the midst of the holiday season. Some people are full of cheer, while others are, kind of dreading the whole holiday scene. The holiday season is the time of the year when people stop and pause and reunite. Sometimes a well-intentioned holiday reunion can turn bad quickly if we're not prepared to handle conflict. Today, I'm offering 5 strategies to help avoid holiday conflict. You know, when we are prepared for something, it gives us the confidence to move through it and to conquer it. So let's go. Let's hit it. Strategy number 1, avoid aggressive behavior. Aggressive behavior can be anything from putting someone down, being condescending, over talking somebody, not listening. All of that is a form of aggressive behavior, and it can trigger conflict. One of the ways that you respond to a person who is being aggressive is to remain calm and seek clarity. Do not try to counter that aggression with more aggression, because it makes everything worse. Someone has to make the decision to be the bigger person. So I recommend remaining calm and understanding that when people feel well, they would treat you good. So the fact that the person is being aggressive and not able to stop and pause and realize that their behavior is inappropriate, then since you know better in that situation and you recognize it, I say take a step back and don't even nurture that aggressive behavior. The second strategy is to avoid lighthearted teasing. Yes, lighthearted teasing is one of those things that can really turn south quickly, because what is pleasure to you may feel like pain to someone else. If we're bringing up a memory from 20 years ago, hey, you remember when such and such wrecked Big Mama's car or grandmother's car, or when they did that? Well, even though it's funny to you, that person, they don't want to have that memory. They have moved on from that. And so pay attention to social cues. If you see that the person is not laughing, or even if they've told you before, hey, you know what, I don't like it when you all bring that up, I'm still bothered by that, then be mindful and disconnect from all of that and leave it alone. The other thing with that lighthearted teasing, be careful about commenting on somebody's physical appearance, reminding somebody that they lost weight, they look different. Oh, did you cut your hair? Or, why did you choose that hair color? It all feels like judgment to that person sometimes. Again, pay attention to what their face is doing. Sometimes people will laugh. They're easing along to get along, but it's actually a very painful moment for them that you pointed out that they feel like you've pointed out that something is not right about them. Yes, if a person is laughing and they're really hurt about it and they are not saying it, yes, they're not being genuine in that moment, and that's a little incongruent, but everybody don't always feel comfortable lifting their voice, I should say, and expressing, could you please stop that? That doesn't make me feel good. So really be mindful about that lighthearted teasing. Number 3, avoid living in the past. And sometimes that's connected to that lighthearted teasing and that judgment. And somebody may be upset with the person from something that happened 20 years ago. Sometimes we have to, I always think it's good to forgive. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness does not mean that you get to ride in my car with me, sit in my house, and, we have this wonderful steak dinner. No, forgiveness is for you. Just making a decision to open up this space of positivity. make a decision to move on and let go. And one of the ways that you do that is to accept that it is done. Whatever happened, happened. You cannot bring back the past. And sometimes we want to open up the space for people to be a better person. And one of the things that goes along with that too, when we're bringing up old stuff, it's like, you remember when you used to? And again, the person they don't want to go back 20 years. What may be a pleasurable memory for you may be a painful memory for them. And also, like, a person may have been called Bubba as a child, right? So now the person is 33 years old with 2 kids, and you're saying, "Hey, Bubba," and the family member goes, "You know what? I don't like to be called Bubba anymore. Please call me John." And it's like, "Oh, you're always going to be Bubba to me." Well, that can feel very dismissive to a person, and it feels like they are not heard. And when a person feel like they are not heard and you're dismissing their request, it can make them feel like they do not matter. And that can also lead to a person feeling like they're not good enough, or they're not enough of something. I know it sounds like a huge, just like, well, how did you get all that from that? But trust me, that's how the family dynamics breaks down a lot of times. It's because of feeling judged, some of that lighthearted teasing, people not moving on and letting go. And that creates some of that hurt and anger that sits at the bottom of all of that. So just be mindful of that. The fourth thing is isolation. If you are one of those people who have a tendency to isolate during the holiday season, you don't want to be around your family. Maybe it feels painful to be around your family. Maybe they probe, they ask questions, they bring up old stuff. Well, I say, if it's too painful to be around your family this year, make a decision to be a part of some community. Volunteer somewhere, because inside of community are relationships that you can build and nurture and grow. Nothing is happening in isolation. There's no life there, and you need to be able to nurture and feed your joy and happiness. People need people. So if you can't be around your family, I say go volunteer. You can easily find out what's going on in your community or other communities by Googling your local radio stations, television stations, visiting, pulling up Eventbrite, just to see what's going on in your community. You may not be the person that wants to scoop some mashed potatoes on a plate. However, you may be the person that wants to hand out a gift or go caroling, or there are all kinds of things that you can connect to. But don't isolate. Connect to community. And fifth, everybody can follow this. If you want to avoid a conflict during the holidays, I always talk about this book, The 4 Agreements, just going by those 4 principles. And that is, 1, be impeccable with your words. Use your words to help others, to heal others. If it's not positive, don't say it. Secondly, don't take anything personal. A lot of times when people say something that's hurtful, that's coming from a hurtful place. Hurt people hurt other people, which is why you don't take it personally. 3, don't make any assumptions. If somebody says something that rubs you the wrong way, pull them to the side and seek clarity. Ask them what they meant by that. And if their intentions were ill, you get to express that, but do it from a place of love, because you don't want to feed negative energy with more negative energy. And of course, always you can make a decision to walk away and talk about it later if it's too hurtful. And the last thing is, always do your best. Show up doing your best and being your best with a heart and warm felt hello. And there's something that I forgot. Let me go back to the very first one with the aggressive behaviors, because sometimes when we have conflict, do not get caught in those conflict traps. Debating, fighting to be right, yelling, over talking. Disconnect from all of that right away. That is a surefire way to get some good holiday conflict going. So that's it. Just a quick recap. If you want to avoid conflict during the holiday season, 1, avoid being aggressive, those aggressive behaviors. 2, avoid lighthearted teasing. 3, move on and let go. Don't live in the past. 4, do not isolate. And 5, follow those 4 agreements. Now, you could have been anywhere in this world, but you chose to be here with me, and I appreciate it. Before we get out of here, I have a couple of announcements. One, my website is updated. Please take time to visit my new website, www.kimwilsonspeaks.com. Go to my upcoming events page and look at some of the webinars that I have coming up. Boy, oh boy, I have a lot of stuff planned for 2020 that I think you're going to enjoy. Secondly, I am putting out 3 additional podcasts next week for the holiday season. Yes, so stay tuned for that. Make sure that you subscribe to my podcast so you can know when something new comes out. You can go to iTunes, Google Music, or Stitcher, and you can get there through my website as well. All right, that's it. If you feel just a little bit better than you did when you first started listening to this podcast, honey, know that you've just had a Kim Wilson experience. Yes, indeed. Onward, upward, and beyond.
Thank you for listening to the Amazing Relationships Podcast with Kim Wilson. Want more? Visit kwspeaks.com. That's kwspeaks.com for the latest inspirational blogs.